Welcome back for episode 34?
34!
34 of the Goliath GameCast. I'm Charlie Rogers, and as always, I'm joined by Nick Steinberg.
Hey, good to be here with you today.
Yeah, so we've got some, actually a lot of topics this week.
We do. Yeah, so I mean, I can't believe it's the middle of March already. Can we just talk about that already?
Yeah, we can. When's winter going to end?
Yeah, we're still stuck here in winter in lovely southern Ontario. Yeah, we've gotten, like, I think some, like, teases. Like, It was, like, a few weeks ago. I was like, can we go back to February weather? Because we actually got some, like, double-digit
Oh, yeah,
days.
that's right, yeah.
And it was like, ooh, put on the spring jacket. This is great. And I'm like, oh, no, it's cold again. It's snowing, like,
you always
all the
see
time.
those, like, memes, like, in Canada, it'll be, like, February, 10 degrees, and people are in, like, shorts.
Yeah.
And then it shows, like, May 10, or, you know, September 10 degrees, and people are in, like, parkas and
like,
stuff.
what
Just,
is
like,
this? Yeah.
the mentality of coming through and coming out of, like, a cold, cold winter in Canada.
Yeah.
People, and as soon as it gets nice, you're like, oh, maybe that's it for snow. And you're like, nope.
Yeah. Tough luck. But, I mean, spring is around the corner, and I think we are kind of seeing this translating almost to the gaming world, too, because we're getting an influx of news, and we're also, pretty close to getting some more big games.
Yeah.
Like, they're right on the horizon, like, near the end of the month. So.
Yeah, and this is around the time where you start to hear a little bit of, like, pre-E3 buzz also.
Yes.
Like, they've already released, I think, the show floor plan and stuff like that. So, things in the gaming industry and news stories are really starting to pick up. The last couple episodes of our podcast, we're kind of scrounging for some news stories to talk about, where this time we've got all kinds of stuff and stuff that we had to leave off of our list.
Yeah. But, kind of picking up on that E3 thing, I feel like half the news stories you get right now are like, yeah, this game's coming. We'll talk more about it at E3.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah, it's a tease.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a tease. But, let's jump right into the news, shall we?
Yeah, our biggest story of the week, and I think most people are probably most interested in this one, the Nintendo Direct that happened. Once again, kind of a surprise. They love just kind of springing these on people, and just, like, announce it, and then, like, 2 days later, it happens.
It's a fun model. I love this.
I like it too.
With Nintendo, yeah. Like, I remember when they started this whole Nintendo Direct thing, like, I don't know, what was it, like 5-6 years ago? Maybe more than that now. I don't know, but they've been doing it for a while, but it's really become this kind of it's like an advertising tool, but it's kind of like almost this like quarterly thing where they're like, all right, guys, here's our direct message to you, and it's just about games.
Yeah,
and,
State of the Union type thing.
Yeah, it's fun. Everyone gets buzzed about them, and I mean, right at the top, we got I think the biggest news is Super Smash Brothers for Nintendo Switch coming this year, even.
Yes.
No release date, no real details of any sort, but
I think we both predicted
confirmed
that we would see it this year in our predictions.
Yeah, or at least talked about, right?
Yeah. So they didn't go into detail, obviously, but
no.
I'm still going to assume that it's kind of a remake of the last one with some added characters.
I don't know. I'm getting the sense that it's a whole new game.
Okay, so let's talk about this. It's got to be the same engine. Like, they wouldn't be redoing the assets and the engine, right? Like, they would be recycling that.
Seems like almost too much.
So, I feel like it will technically be a kind of a 1.5.
Yeah.
But they may not phrase it like that. Like, similar to what they did with Splatoon. Like, Splatoon essentially was the same platform, same, textures and models and stuff. Just, they made some new levels and added characters. I think they'll do a similar thing with Smash.
Smash Brothers is a weird series like that with sequels, because people always want it to be, something kind of brand new, like at the next stage of the series, but then, the kind of hardcore players just get pissed off because they're like, oh, you changed this about the fighting system, right?
Yeah.
Like, we can't wave dash anymore or whatever. Ooh, a little Smash Brothers lingo right there. I have no clue how to do any of this stuff.
Okay.
I don't know what it means.
I've heard of wave dash.
I've heard of wave dashing, but
and canceling.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. Gotta cancel all those moves.
Attacks.
All those wave dashes. I don't know.
So do you play a bunch of
Smash Brothers? I mean, I've always loved Smash Brothers. Like, ever since the N64 original. Like, it was kind of when the first one came out, I was probably like about 10 years old, and it blew my mind, right? Because it's like, oh man, we get Mario fighting Donkey Kong and Link's in there, and it's kind of like your it really brought that whole kind of schoolyard who would win argument like into video game form, and then it's really just really expanded like crazy from there. I've been there for every release. Melee I think is still my favorite.
The GameCube release.
That was the GameCube release.
I think most fans still...
Yeah, that's the one that they kind of swear by. I think they said it's kind of the best kind of overall fighting engine, but it was also, I think, the one that I just kind of fell in love with the most. Like, I played so much of that game, and really, like, it was like a good, like, almost like bonding experience with like my sister, because we would play it a lot.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, it was just a lot of fun.
See, for me, I don't have... I've bought every one, but I find that, like, I'll play it for a couple hours and then just not go back to it.
Right.
Mainly because I don't have buddies over like I used to. But now I've got two kids that, it might be perfect for us to all jump in, even my wife, and just kind of beat each other up in Smash Bros. So I'll definitely pick it up this time. But you wrote an article kind of breaking down some of the characters that you would like to see and that we'll most likely see. You wrote it on Goliath.com.
Well, yeah, this was actually like an article we had kind of written years ago, but I kind of, expanded it and kind of focused it more on the Nintendo Switch side of things, right?
Okay.
Made it Switch specific. But so kind of went over some characters I think would be added. I think some characters that are almost a shoo-in at this point would be... There's got to be somebody from ARMS. Yeah. Would you agree?
I think we'll get two people from ARMS.
Yeah, and I listed here that it would be Springman and Ribbon Girl, who are kind of like the unofficial mascots of ARMS. Like, they both appear on the cover.
Yeah.
One that I was kind of like, maybe not, is the Rabbids from Mario Plus Rabbids. I don't know. Like, could you see that as a combatant?
I could.
Like, like three of them kind of stacked on each other.
Or they could have all kind of wacky weapons.
Yeah.
With their
like kind of a mix of like... kind of like the Captain Olimar with his Pikmin, how he would throw them.
Okay.
I feel like it would be a kind of a similar gameplay thing, if that makes sense. Dante Devil May Cry as a character... I'm iffy about this one. I put it in because we've already seen Bayonetta added as a DLC character to the Wii U, which I didn't even really know about until I was like researching this, because I never picked up the Wii U version. And I was really surprised that they added her, and I thought, okay, well, Dante makes more sense, or makes sense as well.
Well, there was just recently a Devil May Cry remaster collection that I saw that came to PS or to PC for sure. I know. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
if
I think it's coming to PS4 as well.
So if that were to come to the Switch, I could see them then maybe bringing the character over. I think that'd be more likely. Yeah. So I'm trying to think. The last time Devil May Cry was on a Nintendo console would have been, I believe, the GameCube. Was there Devil May Cry?
I don't think it was ever released.
No.
No.
Okay.
But I'm just thinking because Dante was included in that remember PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale?
Yes.
Yeah, which was, kind of like a Smash Brothers clone.
Yes.
So we've already seen, it's like, look, you already have like a moveset, basically. You could just,
it'd be
add
cool
him
to
in
get
there.
him in there.
Who's some other one? I think you could see Solaire from Dark Souls.
Okay.
Just because, Dark Souls is coming to the Switch, and we also saw in the Nintendo Direct that they have a Solaire amiibo, which actually looks amazing.
Right.
Yeah, so he's kind of like the like sun worshipper in Dark Souls. I'm not like super up on like the Dark Souls kind of like mythology and stuff like that, but I think that could be someone. Do you think anybody from Breath of the Wild, like a Breath of the Wild specific character?
I think that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Who do you have here?
I put
Rivali?
Rivali, but it could be like any of those 4 champions. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think they'll put someone.
I think you'll see at least like kind of like a Breath of the Wild stage, or like maybe Link and Zelda will be in that style.
Yes.
You could see, yeah.
You know who it would be cool if we got? You have Dixie Kong here, but if we got what's the new character's name that they're introducing?
Funky Kong?
Funky Kong.
Oh no, he's not new. All right, he's
Funky Kong.
No, Funky Kong was in the Donkey Kong Country games. He just wasn't a playable character. He was like the guy. Gotcha. You remember he had like a surf shop. He's just like, hey, want to go to another place? All right, yeah.
But that'd be kind of cool if we saw him in the new Smash
But I thought
Bros.
Dixie Kong, that makes sense. It's like I think Smash Brothers could use a few more like female characters as well, and like she has moves that would make sense. I mean, you already have Diddy and Donkey in there. Might as well add her. But One, I think maybe we could see is Crash Bandicoot.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that needs to happen.
I mean,
I forget, was Crash in the PlayStation All-Stars one? I forget. I don't
think he was, which is really weird.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing where I'm like, maybe not, because maybe Activision is kind of like, we don't want any of these characters to appear.
The fact that the game's going to be on the Nintendo console, there's already that relationship there. That's why I feel like, if that Devil May Cry series may come to the Switch, then they kind of have that dialogue, and then it leads to there being a better chance. So I think there's actually a pretty good chance that we see Crash. Maybe not at launch, but down the road as.
But how cool would it be to have Mario, Sonic, and Crash duking on the same game?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's something you never think would ever happen.
And we just need Gex in there, the 3DO
of course.
mascot.
Yeah. Who I associate more with PlayStation because all those games ended up being ported. Yeah. Okay, Shovel Knight, I think.
Yes.
Practically guaranteed it has to be in there.
I agree. I mean, there's an amiibo, which I picked up. That's one of the few amiibos I have. I love that Shovel Knight amiibo.
And Shovel Knight has really been, I think, really closely associated with Nintendo hardware. Because the game first appeared, it was...
3DS?
Yeah, 3DS. It was kind of like a timed exclusive. Yeah. I mean, it's been released on other platforms, but it still feels like a Nintendo property. Especially because, I mean, the Shovel Knight games owe so much to, old school...
For sure.
8-bit NES platformers. Yeah. So yeah, that kind of just covers a few characters I think we could end up seeing in Switch. Or the Switch Smash Brothers, but...
Yeah, so I mean, that'd be a great game. I think we'll both pick it up. We'll play it in the office.
Oh, easily.
Hopefully we can get it early and do one of our kind of launch gameplay videos at Goliath like we did, with Mario Kart.
And just confirm how much we suck at it.
Yeah, it's okay. You can still kind of button mash in those games, I find. And
yeah.
With the odd win.
Yeah, as long as you're not playing against a pro, right?
So yeah, we're both looking forward to the Smash... What do you think they're going to call it?
I don't know. Probably just Super Smash Brothers Switch or something, you know? Yeah, I don't see them getting too creative with the title. Because it could very well just be a remake of the Wii U version.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, we'll find out later this year. I'm guessing it'll be around probably a Christmas release. That'll probably be their big kind of game at the holiday season.
Yeah, I think, this seems like a fall 2018 release for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, another big news was, and this one's weird because Luigi's Mansion is getting a remake, but it's for the 3DS.
Yeah, I'm guessing they didn't put it on the Switch because eventually they're going to do, someday, in the next few years, they'll be doing that virtual console and bring GameCube games. So that's probably why they didn't go that route. It's still nice. I mean, they're still propping up the 3DS. There was several games announced on the 3DS, and Luigi's Mansion is a great game to bring over. Considering we got what was it, Dark Luigi's Mansion
or Dark Moon
on the 3DS,
that one was really good.
Awesome. There won't be any 3D in this Luigi's Mansion. I doubt they can go back and really 3Dify that. Who knows? They may, but. I think it's a cool little addition to the 3DS library.
Sure.
And this kind of makes sense for them to be releasing games like this. Bowser, Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story is also coming, which was a DS game.
Yeah, so getting remade for the 3DS.
Yeah, it's just a good way for them to kind of, prop up the 3DS for another 6 months to a year. I'm surprised that the 3DS is still going at this point.
Yeah.
But like we've said many times before, it's nice for Nintendo to have that kind of multiple pricing tiers.
Yeah.
And we may even see the 3DS even drop in price again and then move a bunch more units.
Yeah. I'm just kind of surprised. You think you would have maybe Luigi's Mansion Collection on Switch. Where it has,
that would be cool.
Both games ported over. That'd be cool.
One thing that kind of annoyed me is we're getting a new WarioWare game, but it's a 3DS game. I would really love to see that on the Switch.
Wouldn't it make so much sense with the Joy-Cons? It's just the perfect those are great party games.
Well, I mentioned this with 1-2 Switch. Imagine if they could
that was
kind of bring some of those over and call it, Wario's WarioWare or WarioWare Switch or 1-2 whatever. 1-2 WarioWare Switch Gold or I don't know. But either way, bring some sort of Wario franchise to the Nintendo Switch because I used to love those WarioWare games. And also, a bit of a transition here. We also got the announcement of one of the games that we mentioned that we really wanted to see on the Switch. Is Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
Yeah.
Which is also coming to 3DS too.
Yeah, so I wonder if that's gonna be. Do you think it'd be like a dumbed down version, like almost like a different game, or it'd be
I
the
think
same
it'll
one?
be the same game, just
Okay.
kind of scaled down.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen them
I guess
do it
it's not-
before with.
yeah.
I think they ported Wii U games to the 3DS, right?
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Oh yeah,
Zelda,
yeah. Hyrule Warriors
There's
was.
been,
Yeah, that's
I
right.
think, a
That's
few,
right.
So, but yeah, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is a great little game that not a lot of people experience.
Makes
including
so
yourself,
much sense
right?
for the Switch. Yeah, I never played it. But yeah, puzzle games are like I'm just like in the mood for way more puzzle games on the Switch, and so having something like that on the go.
Yeah, like how would you describe it? Puzzle, platformer. It's almost, it feels like a bit of like a diorama.
Yeah.
You can circle around in these small little contained levels.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they mentioned that they're going to be introducing some levels like New Donk City from Super Mario
that's right.
Odyssey. So
Oh, man.
there'll be some new additions to the game. I'm guessing this will be a full price release.
I think it'll be discounted.
You think?
I think because the original Captain Toad, I think, was released at that like kind of $40
Was it cheaper?
price point. I believe it was.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see this one being a budget Switch game. But yeah, it's great to see this little game getting attention again, getting kind of another shot at life.
And I think it's going to sell like gangbusters on the Nintendo Switch, especially if it's at a bit of a discount.
It comes out in the summer too, so that's like it's great. Yeah, July 13th, I guess. And
perfect timing.
Yeah, I'm just unclear if the 3DS version's coming up that same day or not.
Yeah, they didn't really. They focused on the Switch version, but they did show the logo of the 3DS, so it is coming to 3DS. But who knows when?
Yeah. Let me see some other big announcements. Oh, okay. So we finally got confirmation that Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy is coming to the Switch. It's coming on July 10th. So I mean, not that this is the first time that Crash has been on a Nintendo platform, but it'll be the first time that these were the original PlayStation games.
Yeah.
So
that have never been on.
It's crazy to
anywhere outside of the PlayStation. Did they come to the Xbox yet?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Which I have to assume it's probably coming this summer as well. Like I think it's coming to Xbox.
But again, I'm pumped to play. Well, Nick has played through all of these games multiple times.
Yeah.
Picked up the HD collection on the PS4.
Yes.
Will you pick it up again on the Switch and be able to play that on the go?
I know, it's so tempting, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard because I already have all 3 of those games on the Vita. Now, those are the original, PS1 classics. Yeah. So I'm like, do I need... Yeah, I probably will.
Yeah,
just why not?
I'll pick it up once it's been out for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I can find it on a sale for like $20-25.
Yeah.
I'll grab it then. I don't need to play it right away.
No.
And there's so much other stuff coming out.
Sure.
Including we got an announcement for a game that's now on every system under the sun, Okami HD.
Oh, I like what you did there. Under the sun.
Is that a pun with
I'm pretty sure
pun,
it's like it's a sun god, right? Like
I can't remember.
The wolf, I'm pretty sure.
It's been a while. I played on the PS2. All I remember.
Oh, there's a deer outside.
I can't say it every time I see the deer go by my window. So. But yeah, Okami. The nice thing about Okami on the Switch is it's got the touch screen. We can get back to. They had some really cool elements that I believe was first done on the Wii U version. You could there's like a painting mechanic.
Yeah.
Involved, and you would use the Wii remote. This one you can actually touch the screen and do painting with your finger.
Cool. So okay, confession: I have never played Okami, and it kind of haunts me to this day because I remember back when it first came out on PS2, I was like, "Oh, that game looks amazing! Yeah. I want to play that."
Really gorgeous art style.
And then I had the HD version on. I think I got it on PS3. Never even started it up. Maybe this will be the version that I finally...
To be honest, I think I only put a few hours into it too back then. I played a bit of there was a DS version, I think it was Okami Den that I played more of actually, of that version. So just another great addition to the Switch, and these are the titles that we talked about in between Nintendo's first party new games.
Yes.
Stuff like Kirby and Yoshi that's eventually coming, Nintendo Labo, sprinkling in these third party games and spacing it out so that we're getting something new and interesting every couple weeks, not even, it's more than every month now. The Nintendo first party releases are spread out pretty much like one a month.
Yeah.
But then we're getting all these other great little games mixed in, and people will keep saying, you know, there's so many ports, and to both of us, I think we're like, just bring them on. Like the fact that you're now able to
right now,
you're now able to play some of these great games on the go.
Yes.
It's something that's you've never been able to do before, and I love it.
Yeah, and I mean, I get most excited when it is a Wii U port. Just because, like, that system, it had some great games that just did not get a fair shot just because of the platform's, like, horrible sales.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we get Wonderful 101. Because that's a game that, like, nobody played.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
Another announcement that we got a closer look at Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes. I'm actually more excited about this now than I was when it was first announced. It looks like it's going to have like a kind of more retro style game, but like kind of incorporate different types of retro gaming, like platformers, hack and slash.
Oh, that's cool.
Looks really interesting.
I have no...
Did you play
familiarity with the No More Heroes franchise?
It's really over the top.
Definitely
kind of
been
hack
aware
and
of
slash.
it, but yeah.
Very Japanese, very strange in the best way possible. I love those quirky Japanese games. And another quick look at Octopath Traveler. Did you play that demo on the Switch?
I still have not played that demo. I know, you keep telling me, like, you gotta play that. I don't even know
really
what it is.
Now, that being said, it's like a 16-bit JRPG, so if that's not your type of game, you might not be too into it, but if you're into, like, the older style JRPGs, this is one of the better...
like, modern...
Yes, in you know, the past decade or so. I really enjoyed it. It really actually got its hooks into me, and I played through it while I was away on holidays in Croatia, and I'm actually really looking forward to this one. So that's July 13th, another great summer game. There's going to be a lot of great releases this summer.
One port that I thought is very interesting is South Park Fractured But Whole. April 24th.
Yep.
And
so pretty soon.
Yeah, like, it's just funny to see, like, a game that like, kind of that obscene on the Switch, but...
Well, I keep going back to Cartman's diary. I was playing a little bit of the game, and I go up to Cartman's bedroom and open his drawer, and his diary's in there, and it's, like, drawings so dirty, of Butters, like...
You know,
giving it to, what's his name's, Kyle's mom, and, like, very graphic drawings. So I'm like, that's going to be on a Nintendo Switch. It'll be interesting to see if they edit anything. Nintendo doesn't typically allow this sort of, like, mature content on their systems traditionally.
Yeah, like, is that still a thing now, like, for Nintendo?
I don't know.
Or is it just because of the whole, of what they actually produce, and the fact that we tend to not see a lot of third-party software?
Yes,
which tends to be the more kind of mature... I mean, we saw Doom already, right? And that's like a pretty over-the-top violent game.
Yeah. So in the Wii U generation, we didn't have much third-party support, like you mentioned. So it really didn't come into play. The last time I can think of it being an issue was Manhunt on the Wii.
Did that come to the Wii?
Yes, there was a Manhunt. I forget what it was called, but you could actually, and there was a Scarface game where you could actually like use the motion controls to like beat people.
Oh.
Now you got me second guessing it. I'm pretty sure Manhunt came. I'm almost positive there was a Manhunt that came to the Wii. I'm pretty positive, but yeah, my point is you didn't see the third party development like we during the Wii U. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that, and maybe you're right. Maybe that's just a thing of the past. Yeah, with Nintendo kind of restricting that.
But again, good to just see more third party games coming to the Switch. So, kind of rounding this out, we got a closer look at Mario Tennis Aces, which is the game that I'm probably most excited about. I always love these Mario sports games, so yeah, I'm happy that one's coming to the Switch, and pretty soon too. What's that release date again?
June 22nd.
June. Okay, yeah.
I really want to see a new Mario Strikers. Out of all the Nintendo sports games, that is a personal favorite.
Yeah, and that's one that I ended up missed out on. Yeah.
You would think that, like, with the popularity of soccer these days, that would actually be a franchise that would make sense for them.
And to release a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take the GameCube one.
Sure.
That was fantastic.
Sure.
If we get that, but yeah, I would love a new one. So yeah, the Nintendo Direct, that's pretty much
covers most of the big things. I think there's a few other minor
all in
stories,
all,
but
a pretty impressive Direct with some great announcements.
Yeah, I mean that the best thing I could say about it is that, you know, the Nintendo Switch kind of release schedule is just continuing to fill up for the year.
Yeah.
You know, it's a great went into this year not really knowing, are they going to be able to kind of replicate that, like, incredible launch year? And I mean, that remains to be seen in terms of, like, the top tier software, but it's clear that it's like, well, they're still going to be releasing a lot of games. So.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for them to release 2 of the greatest Nintendo games ever released and follow
that's probably not going to happen.
But you're right. I think so far this is going to be another great year for Nintendo. Kind of staying with Nintendo, we had an issue that kind of made the news earlier last week. With there being an issue that once people hit 1 year anniversary of having their console, so a lot of people who bought the console at launch were noticing that their play times had been erased for games. So if you check your profile, you'll see like Nintendo or Zelda Breath of the Wild played for 150 hours. Yeah. So it was now saying, I forget what it was saying. I think it was saying something like last played, you know, whenever, so many weeks ago instead of their playing time. So people were up in arms about, because it's kind of like a badge of honor to have, like, oh, I played 150 of this game, I played 50 of this game, and I could see how people would kind of get annoyed by it.
Yeah, I mean, that's those are just kind of like fun stats to track. Like, that's one thing that I love about what the Xbox One does, actually. Yeah. Is they have like a full on, like, for every game, here's like how much you've played, how it compares to your friends, and that's just like, you know, it's cool stuff to see how much of your life you've put into certain games. But yeah, so I'm kind of unfamiliar with this story. Have they kind of released an update? Are they doing any kind of fix?
I know that Nintendo is aware, and they released a statement saying that they are looking into it or on top of it. I don't know if that update has actually happened. I know that there was a Nintendo Switch update 2 days ago, but I checked the patch notes and whatever, and it was not mentioned in there. So I actually don't know if they've corrected the problem as of yet, but apparently they're working on it. You just never know, like, if they're able to still go back and reinstate the hours that were played on the game. You know what I mean? Or if that's just data that's completely lost forever.
Now,
Which,
like,
we
deleted it all.
With Nintendo and some of their systems, like, you know, we've heard horror stories of people sending their systems in for repair, and, you know, the Nintendo's unable to back up any saves, and people lose their their saves for all their games. Just for simple things like sometimes replacing a Joy-Con, they decide to wipe the whole system for some reason. It's some really strange stuff that Nintendo really needs to iron out. They really need to have like a dedicated, like, cloud saves like all the other consoles do. Yeah. Nintendo's a little bit behind.
Well, you know, maybe eventually.
Someday. So we also this week got the announcement from Nintendo that they have launched their kind of like their Nintendo coin system that can be earned through purchases of games. Those coins that you earn can now be applied towards discounts on the eShop.
Okay. Now, how does this work? Are they giving you codes with the games? Like, kind of like how, you remember, what was it? The Club Nintendo, when that was still around, you would get little codes and they would give you...
So, if you buy a digital game, it's automatically added to your total.
Okay.
Okay? And
That's just on your account? Like, there's just a...
Yeah.
Okay.
So, when you set up your Switch, you have to... I believe you have to now create a My Nintendo account, I think it's called.
Yeah.
So now the coins for digital purchases are slightly more. Like, I think for some digital purchases you'll get like 400 coins.
Okay.
Whereas physical, if it's like a $80 game here in Canada, I think it's between 60 and 80 for a full release.
Oh, man,
you get like 80 coins. So the problem is that each coin, so 100 coins, I believe, equates to like $1.
Yeah.
So basically, you're getting $1 or $2 off for buying one full retail price game. So you're getting $1 or $2 off another purchase.
Yeah.
It's like just not quite enough. Yeah. Like if it was like, you know, here in Canada it's a $80 release. So if you got like, you know, $3 even, that'd be reasonable.
Yeah. I don't know. This doesn't excite me just because, like, I've said this before, but Nintendo just has this like weird issue with discounts.
Yeah.
You know, if you're on Xbox, you're on PlayStation, you're on Steam, you're just regularly getting these like awesome sales.
Yeah.
And like I've had the Switch for almost a year, and there hasn't been like any awesome sales.
Well, not first
like,
party. You are seeing
that,
now that the like eShop is being flooded with more games.
Yeah.
I am noticing that games like that Switch tax. Remember before, like games would come out on the Switch and be like $5-10 more.
Yeah.
That's starting to level out, and you're seeing third party games. But you're right. First party Nintendo stuff, rarely.
Yeah.
And if it is, it's like a pathetic discount.
It's just, you know, it's expensive being a, you know, Nintendo gamer for sure.
I guess their logic is they just don't, maybe the discounting their games diminishes the, you know, status of Nintendo products. And do they, they kind of have a point, right? Do they really need to even discount their games?
But I guess really, like this coin thing is like any other kind of business rewards program. You know, you're never getting like a ton of return on it, but I guess getting something is better than nothing.
Yeah, it's almost there. Like I said, like
right. You just wish it was a little more,
slightly more. Like if you bought like a full priced retail game, if you got $3.50 to $5, you know, credit wise towards your next purchase, that wouldn't be bad at all.
Yeah.
You know, and that definitely adds up. So yeah, the way you do it for physical is you have to have the game in. There's like an option that you can go to redeem coins.
Okay.
So that's how it's done.
Yeah,
that way.
I wonder how many people actually take advantage of this, because like I didn't even know about this until, you know, so it's like it doesn't feel like they're really.
No, and I always go back to remember the old Nintendo Club points that were in DS and Wii games. But I used to pick them up at garage sales,
and the codes would still work most of the time, right?
95% of the time, the codes
people
were still
couldn't be bothered.
Yeah, or they just don't know, right? Like,
yeah,
they don't know that they have to make an account and register all those points.
Yeah.
So it's nice that Nintendo has finally rolled this out after a year.
Yeah.
But it just could be a little bit better. I don't want to get too picky. But you know, give us another 30% value, and I'm a happy man. So. Yeah, anyway, so what's our next story, Nick?
Did you like The Division?
I did.
Yeah? Okay, well, it looks like Division 2 is on the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, we actually just passed the kind of 2-year anniversary of Tom Clancy's The Division. And there was kind of this, you know, rumor going around because there was a kind of like a reference to like a logo on the Ubisoft site. And people were like, oh, crap, Division 2 is coming, and then they wouldn't say anything about it, but then they did confirm that, you know, it's on the way. And I guess they were talking about how, because The Division was kind of set up almost like similar to like Destiny or like any of these kind of, I guess, like live services kind of games. Well, actually, that, you know, that's Ubisoft's kind of MO right now, but it seems like they decided to. They're going with a sequel just because they felt like, okay, we have enough stuff there. You know, a full-fledged number sequel will make the most sense. And I think this is a good thing, because as much as I liked certain parts of The Division, there were other things that I wasn't kind of a big fan of.
Yeah.
I fell off that game. I mean, I've heard that it's, you know, it's been kind of continuously updated over the past 2 years, and it's there's really a lot of like cool stuff in it now. But I feel like, yeah, like coming out with a, you know, full sequel that kind of wipes the slate clean again, could be a good way to get, you know, new players and like, you know, lapsed players like myself interested in this again. And
I think that's why they're putting a number 2 on it, because the first time around it was successful, but it didn't. It wasn't quite as successful as they had hoped it would be. So it's almost like that reset, right? So if the Division had been this huge success, I think that we would have seen this as a live services game where you would just get, you know, season 2, season 3, which they're kind of doing already. But for them to be able to do a full reboot and relaunch kind of gives it the full attention. And then I'll bet you then they'll move into the live services model, and probably most likely we won't get a 3. Yes.
Yeah.
Like we talked about Division a few times, like with their, you know, we talked about the one expansion pack they released where it added a whole new section to the city.
Yeah.
It is one of those games that, you know, was released as something in the beginning, and it's evolved into something completely, not completely different, but it's really kind of evolved into a really good game. Like it's really highly regarded. It's just that initial launch of the game didn't quite get the player base that they were hoping for. And I think that going back and doing a bit of a relaunch with the number 2 attached to it will do that. I think I'll bet you the Division 2 will be absolutely huge.
Yeah, and kind of going back to the first game, I think the big problem was that it took too long for the developers to add things that would improve kind of the quality of life. Like I think the first expansion was just a complete kind of like dud. Like people didn't like it, and it's like it really wasn't until like kind of like the next year that things really started to turn around with it. But by then, like a lot of players had already left. But yeah. So right now, I mean, there's no real details available. This is another one of those stories that is like, yeah, we'll have more information at E3 so we don't have like a launch date, any other details. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to this one. I think they have like a really solid kind of like third person shooter.
Gorgeous game.
Yeah.
Great universe.
Just such a great recreation of New York. Like,
yes.
It was, I think, probably the best kind of like virtual New York City we've seen so far.
Ubisoft is just absolutely killing it.
I'm really Ubisoft. They're exciting me lately just because it seems like they're really learning from their like mistakes over the past few years.
Yeah, and they are moving to this live service model, but I think you can't really blame them if they've got games that are so popular and so well made. Yeah. Instead of just releasing constant, number 2, number 3.
Yeah.
It's just a different model that I think people need to get used to.
But again, I think we've talked about this before.
Yes, I know what you're going to say.
Like how many live services can you have in your life?
Yes. Yeah. And how egregious is the live service? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, let's look at, okay, so Ubisoft has, Division 2 that we'll see at E3. Far Cry 5, which is one of my most anticipated games.
Yeah, that's coming out soon. We should have a copy, like, hopefully the end of this week.
Yeah, so stay tuned. Next podcast, we'll definitely go deep into Far Cry 5, and Nick will have the review up. But like, there's a bunch of other, Assassin's Creed's going great for them. They've got The Crew. I think it's The Crew too, and I mentioned this earlier. I'm actually looking forward to this one. They're introducing planes and boats. Is it The Crew? Yeah, I think it's The Crew.
I don't know. I don't know anything about The Crew.
It's a Ubisoft racing game.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a massive E3 for Ubisoft, full of it. And they still haven't announced. We thought we were going to get it last E3. Splinter Cell, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And there was something about this I saw the other day that it looks like Splinter Cell is going to come this year. There's going to be a new one. That
franchise is just like that's ready for a comeback. There's been a long enough time. And we haven't really got a great, stealth action espionage type game.
Yeah, and
in a while.
Yeah, and that series was really at its best back on the original Xbox.
Oh yeah.
They've really had these kind of like ups and downs since then. Trying to like reimagine this series, and
I've
liked it throughout.
Yeah, there hasn't been any that have been really considered bad.
No,
they're all well done.
They were all pretty well received.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they resurrect that. But my point is, man, Ubisoft is making some really, really good games right now.
Now, if they could just announce a new Prince of Persia.
Prince of Persia!
Oh my God. I'd be a very happy boy.
They've got so many franchises that they're
kind of sitting on, too, I think.
Yeah, Ubisoft's kind of on top of the world right now.
Yeah.
They've kind of supplanted almost like EA, right? Like, there's so many AAA.
They've been making better moves than EA for sure. Like, I feel like you're not seeing as much Ubisoft hate as you did before.
I think you're right. I think that's partially because EA has been kind of shooting themselves in the foot a little bit, but yeah, they're kind of flying under the radar where EA is taking the crown as like the evil empire.
Yeah, that's true. So another like huge story this week. I mean, which makes sense for the biggest game around right now, is that, Fortnite Battle Royale is coming to mobile?
Oh, yeah. I'm not surprised. Are you?
I'm not... I shouldn't say I'm surprised, but I'm wondering how that's going to work.
Well, it's a cartoon-type graphics game, so they can downscale that and easily get a mobile version of that running. Well, I guess the question comes in with the whole infrastructure of having 100 players, as always.
Yeah.
But I know that there's been a bunch of knockoffs of PUBG, and like for a market like where they would just aim this right at like the Chinese market,
Yeah.
Gangbusters. I mean, it's a Korean. Oh no, that's PUBG. That is the Korean company. Fortnite. Who makes?
It's
Fortnite?
Epic.
Epic. Okay.
Yep. No, my issue is more like, how is this going to control? Right? It's going to be the touchscreen controls. Like, I feel like you almost need a controller.
It will be touchscreen. They'll have the D-pad. That's how they do all these games. It's not for me, but there's plenty of people that are totally fine with playing those type of games on mobile.
And one thing I thought is really interesting is it's going to be cross-platform, but it's going to be kind of like optional cross-platform where mobile players can opt in to play with, like, you know, PC and console. No, this is like a real thing.
Really?
Yeah. But it won't be the other way around. So it's basically like, yeah, mobile players have the choice to opt into PlayStation 4 and PC queues, but it doesn't work the other way around.
Holy cow! That's huge.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, so they're even saying a PC gamer cannot join a mobile queue, but a mobile gamer can opt in to play with a PC player.
Okay, so now I can see why you're questioning this, because that makes it sound like it is then just a console PC version of Fortnite on the phone.
Well, yeah, they're saying there's going to be like no compromises, right?
I see.
Like, they're saying,
okay, that is crazy.
Yeah, they said, okay, so this is like a quote from the developer. It says, "We believe this is the future of games. The same game on all platforms, console quality graphics and action. Play when you want, where you want."
Wow, that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. This is like almost like registration has actually already happened now. I mean, I don't know. I think it's kind of maybe difficult to get a key right now, but yeah, I really want to I kind of want to try this out just to see how well it would run.
I'm really interested.
I mean, I don't think I actually have like a phone that would be
able to run it.
Well, no, it would run, but it just wouldn't be like great. But also, I think there's iOS and Android can play together too. Like this is kind of cool with Fortnite, how it's really just trying to bring everything into like the same ecosystem. Like,
it's kind of groundbreaking when it comes to that. For sure.
Although you still have kind of like PS4 not playing well with like Xbox. But
Xbox loves to mention that it's PlayStation.
We keep trying to
they don't
play with them.
it.
Yeah, we're disappointed here.
I mean, I don't see in this day and age why that couldn't happen. Why they couldn't come together and just do cross-platform. Even with PC.
But I mean, this is nuts. Like, this is like the biggest game in the world just becoming even bigger.
That's crazy. Yeah. I just assumed it was like a mobile specific version. I didn't realize it was.
No, this is the full deal.
That'll be an interesting story to follow.
Yeah. And kind of continuing into Fortnite territory is I saw this really interesting story from Forbes about the top Twitch streamer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So this is Ninja. He's a 26-year-old. He used to be, I guess, pretty involved in the kind of like Halo pro gaming scene. But he's kind of moved into streaming for a while, and like I can't believe how much money he's making. So this writer, Paul Tassi, he did a kind of like calculation, or actually he wrote an initial article that was kind of guesstimating like how much money Ninja was bringing in, and apparently Ninja was actually reading the article on his like stream, which was pretty exciting for this writer, right? He's like, oh man, he's like, I just hope I didn't make any typos, because he's reading it out to 70,000 people, right? And I guess apparently, so Tassi had estimated that he was making $350,000 a month just based on Twitch subs alone, which is already insane. But apparently this is on the complete low end. Like, he missed it completely. So Tassi ended up doing a follow-up with Ninja. Like, he did a bit of an interview with him, and he confirmed like, no, here's like what I would actually be making, and it's over $500,000 a month.
That's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
A month. Yeah. So 160,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Right?
So
at $5 a piece, but I think you actually only get $350.
Yeah. So it's 160,000 subs at a rate that's like $3.50. So yeah, pulling in, but that would bring it up to $560,000 a month.
Yeah. So that's just through subs.
Yes.
Okay. So he's also getting donations, sponsorships.
Right, and he's got he's got a YouTube channel with 4 million
Get
subs
out of
too.
here.
So,
This guy is
yeah, I know.
it. So he's probably making closer to $750 a month.
Yeah.
That's insane. 4 million subscribers. Yeah, he's probably bringing in 150 from YouTube. That's absolutely crazy. And I've mentioned this before with like Dr. Disrespect. I mentioned one of his articles about him. You know, the life of being a Twitch streamer is like the goal for every, you know, male gamer.
Yeah.
Just wake up in the morning and play video games in your underwear. Obviously, you have to be good at the game, and this guy is, you know, a quality Fortnite player.
Oh yeah, I guess he gets, you know, first place like a lot. So,
that definitely helps, but I mean, you don't need to be the world's greatest gamer. You just
Sure.
got to be somewhat interesting and have an enthusiasm for games, and you can make yourself a nice little following on Twitch. And the monetization model for Twitch is one of the best on social media.
Yeah, you're saying that, like, and yeah, sure sounds like it's like you're not worrying about the same crap as you do have to on YouTube.
Yeah, it's
Things
literally like
changing all the time.
If people enjoy your stream,
Yeah.
then it's $5 a month. Like if you know, if I was really into watching a certain streamer, I would have no problem giving them $5.
I like that.
a month.
It seems like, you know, the quality guys are like rising to the top, and you know, and he says in this interview, like, it's like, you know, I realize like I'm incredibly lucky to be in this position, and like, you know, this is tough. Like, if you want to get in on this, like, yeah, it is, you know,
it's tough
it's a
to
harsh
make a
reality
living.
to make it,
Absolutely.
you know, as this, but and he kind of so they go into, it's like why do you think like Fortnite is the game that is really, you know, not only catching on for him but like Twitch in general right now, right? And it really comes down to, you know, it's kind of like a better version of PUBG right now. Like it's running like. It's a different game, but I mean, it runs way smoother.
Yeah.
You know, like it has the backing of Epic, who can make fixes much quicker, and that whole free to play thing.
Yeah.
It's just.
Yeah, it's in more people's
It's crazy.
hands.
You know, and this has really made me think. Like, you know, I wish I could get into Fortnite more.
Me too.
But it is just not for me.
Yeah, I haven't really given it a big enough shot.
No,
yet.
that's fair. Yeah.
I need to get my nephew over here and for him to teach me and kind of walk me through, like, oh, you should be checking here, like, watch this corner and use this weapon and build this. I feel like I need a tutorial. I did try actually jumping in, and we'll talk about, oh, I don't have much to say about it, but I did actually play the first match of Fortnite, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot like PUBG. I had a ton of fun with that. So I get the idea. It's a great spectator game. So, like, I'll find myself, I don't watch a lot of Twitch, but I'll watch Dr. Disrespect playing PUBG and Fortnite just because it's a great game to watch, you know, as a fan or
you know,
follower.
and maybe that's my in. Maybe I have to, you know, give this a chance, like watching
I
streams,
think that would
right?
actually really help.
So I think I'm gonna, you know, check out Ninja's streams and just really see, like, maybe this will make me fall in love with the game. I don't know.
I think it will.
Yeah.
I think because they do a good job of breaking it down. You can see how the top players, like, their level of strategy.
Yeah.
It's just, that's kind of how I got into PUBG. I was just happened to be watching Dr. Disrespect play PUBG. I'm like, man, I need to play this. It looks like a lot of fun. So, Fortnite, though, is, we mentioned it last podcast, is kind of surpassing PUBG. And PUBG's, you're not hearing a whole lot about PUBG anymore.
No, it's Fortnite all the time. And it's like, I think it's just a really interesting story how it started out as people kind of bashing it as just this copycat game, and now it's really just, it's become the leader in this space. I mean, still small, but it's going to be a space that's just going to grow, but it's going to be a lot of people, you know, just like, you know, chasing this whole genre, and like I think a lot of companies are going to fail miserably at it.
Yeah. Another thing that points to its success is it's kind of like ageless, like, you know,
yes.
Kids can play it because it's safe. It's cartoon violence, so it's pretty family friendly, and most moms wouldn't have a problem with it.
Yep, but it has a skill ceiling though too. You know,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Right up to you know, guys our age and
sure.
Yeah, so that has a lot going for it too. Whereas PUBG could be, you're restricting that whole like 16 to 18 market where their parents might not let them play the more violent games. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, on to the next story here. Just wanted to quickly mention, we've talked about Battlefield a few times on the previous podcast. So it did come out that Battlefield 5 will be in a World War II setting. We both discussed how we were really hoping for a Bad Company 3 in the rumored Vietnam setting.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely disappointed when I heard this because, we've both wanted a new Bad Company game. And it looks like it's not going to be the case. We're still going to have to wait. And, I mean, World War II, it's kind of like, all right, yeah, Call of Duty just went back to that. Like, oh, man, now Battlefield's doing it too. Mm-hmm. Like, what is this, like the early 2000s again?
Yeah.
But the more I think about it, the more I'm kind of getting excited about it now. Because the whole Battlefield gameplay system will just work so well. Whereas, Call of Duty World War II really didn't hold much interest for me because I'm like, I don't really want to go back into World War II death matches and stuff like that. Battlefield, you have that whole sandbox gameplay where it's, the tanks, it's all out war, right? And I'm like, okay, they did such a great job with it in Battlefield 1, and now it's like Battlefield 2, you just have kind of like more stuff. And if they can, I think, do the same thing that they did with the single-player campaign, which was actually really good in Battlefield 1, I think they could really just replicate that game's success again.
That's what has me interested. I really like what they did with the single-player campaign in Battlefield 1, so I would actually be into this game for single-player first. I don't play a lot of like online shooters, so the single-player would it would be the kind of game where I'll pick up and play through the single-player campaign first, and then kind of jump into the multiplayer. But Battlefield 5, we should hear more about it at E3, maybe even see hands-on. I don't know if it'll be playable. I mean, it's supposed to be out in 2018?
Yeah.
They're calling it was Battlefield 2018 at one point.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's 2 years after Battlefield 1 came out.
So we should...
Oh, yeah, I think we'll definitely be seeing it
we should
playable in the next few months.
Yeah, pretty good look at it at E3. I should be at EA Play again this year, so I should be able to get some hands-on time with a new Battlefield, so... Stay tuned to Goliath.com for coverage on that. Any other news stories that you wanted to touch on?
Just a couple kind of smaller ones that I wanted to quickly go over. Days Gone has been delayed to 2019. Now this is the PS4 exclusive that is developed by Sony Bend. Kind of that. I'm still a little confused about what the game is exactly. Like it's kind of like this sort of narrative.
Zombies,
open world zombie
with a whole
kind of game
hordes of zombies, waves,
and there's like motorcycle gangs and stuff like that.
Looks interesting.
Yeah. Now we never had a confirmed release date for it, but 2018 was kind of the expectation. But now it's been like pushed out, so I guess a little less to look forward to this year for kind of PS4 exclusives. But I guess we still have Spider-Man, God of War really soon.
Yeah.
And Detroit Become Human would be the other big one later this year.
I guess that's a big one.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you care much about this? Like,
I do. I care about Days Gone. I was definitely looking forward to that one. And it's much like we mentioned with World War II games and the fatigue there. We had a lot of zombie games there for like a couple year period, and now I feel like that kind of slowed down for a few years. So maybe it's time like. That zombie game, there might be a place. I mean, Last of Us, even The Last of Us has been a little while now, so...
Yeah.
I think I'm ready to shoot some more zombies again.
Yeah. I guess it's like doing different things in that space, right? Is what makes it interesting. Yeah.
So Detroit, what?
Become Human?
Become Human. I almost said Too Human.
Too Human. Oh, man, remember that game?
I'm not really... That's not really on my radar.
No, me neither.
I'm not too
it's Spider-Man and God of War for this year for PlayStation stuff.
Spider-Man, I can't wait for.
Yeah. And then kind of the last story is, it seems like Diablo 3 is confirmed to be coming to the Switch.
Yeah, so it was kind of weird. They did like a little teaser on Twitter, Blizzard did, where they had a Diablo nightlight that they were switching on and off. So it was clearly like a nod at, Diablo 3 coming to the Switch.
Right.
Which a bunch of people reported on, including us at Goliath. And then they actually came out and said, oh, no, we're not that clever. That was just a coincidence. I was like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, you just happened to be posting this and switching it, whatever. So they basically denied it, but then it has come out that I think it was Eurogamer that was reporting that it actually...
No, it's a real thing. Yeah.
It is a real thing, and it should be coming. So now that leads to questions as to what will be included. Will we get the 2 expansions, or is Reaper of Souls and 1 more expansion?
So they had Reaper of Souls, which was I think the only paid expansion, and
Okay.
they just kind of added some free updates since then with like more content and things like that.
Yeah.
Like there was, I think they added another new character. It's been a while since I've gone back and played it, but I mean I love Diablo 3. I love the like especially like they really nailed it on consoles. I feel like
yes,
like
they
I
did
love
a great
the whole
job.
like control scheme and stuff like that. I think it'll be like a great game for the Switch, like something to play on the go, and something that like if you're with buddies you can just link up and it's a great like jump in jump out kind of RPG. So
yeah, if you could just attach the Joy-Con and get up to, I think, up to 4 player.
Yeah, up to 4 player.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and so this is the first Blizzard game we've seen on a Nintendo system in 15 years. So the last ones were a couple of lesser known like Game Boy Advance games. I forget what the titles
Ports,
are.
I think one we said was Rock and Roll Racing.
Yeah, that's right. So maybe this will open the door for more Blizzard games to come. I mean, Overwatch is the one we always go back to.
Yep.
As a possibility. I don't see any reason why it couldn't work on the Switch. But,
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get an Overwatch character in Smash Bros. If that
happens.
That'd be kind
but
of cool.
Oh man, this is just like this will be the 3rd time I've picked up Diablo 3. So
I think 4 for me. I had PS3,
right.
PC.
Probably had the PC one, yeah.
PS4.
Oh, so it came out on PS3 and Xbox 360 first.
Yes.
And then it was ported to like the current gen consoles.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I owned it on the
probably
PS3,
the PC version first.
PS3,
probably.
PC,
yeah.
And then I picked it up on the PS4. Played through it co-op actually with my nephew. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll totally pick it up and play it again.
Yeah.
I want to. Hopefully, you can jump right into the Reaper of Souls. I kind of want to play that first. 'Cause I just never got to it. I don't know. If
I don't remember if you need to be at like a certain level or not yet, but I mean, for sure they're going to include it.
Yeah.
So. And that about does it for the news this week. So moving on to the playlist, I guess is what we call this segment. what we've been playing, playing. So yeah, like Charlie, what games have you been playing lately?
I played quite a bit since we last met. Most of my time has been spent with Burnout Paradise Remastered.
Yes, I forgot this came out.
Yeah, I got a code through the EA Game Changers program, but it is available now on EA Access if you have that on your Xbox One. So you get 10 hours with it early. It's actually, EA Access is pretty good value. But Burnout Paradise Remastered, I've been playing it to death with my boys. My one boy, Teddy specifically, is obsessed with cars and police. So in this game, you've got a whole bunch of cars that are unlocked, and he's like, oh, can I be a policeman? And I looked at the police cars, and there's like 30 different police cars you could be.
Oh my goodness.
So he is in his glory, and he's actually gotten pretty good at the game. So I don't know if you remember, but you have to... collect, there's like these gates with yellow signs. You have to there's 400 of them spread out.
There's ones that you can like break, like billboards and stuff.
Yes,
too,
and billboards.
like,
so
jumps
we are already at 320 of 400 gates found.
What? Oh yeah, so they're basically like almost like this like gameplay mill for you, right?
Yeah,
like you guys can do all the little stuff.
They're getting achievements for me.
Yeah. I'll do the hard races, but you go around the map. And
that's right. They've been doing the road rage events for me, so I'm like, just look for the red dots on the map. They're pulling up, and they can do the takedowns and stuff like that. The thing that they struggle with is orienting the map on where to go in races. You know what I mean? You have to follow the map. They're still kind of learning that system. But they've been playing a ton of it, and then come down here. I'm like, can I have a turn now? And I'll do a race. And
oh, that's awesome!
It's really good. Yeah. So it's remastered. It's one of those games that it doesn't stand out as like, wow, this looks so much better than it used to. But it's weird. Like you have like memories of games, how they look, but if you actually went back to see how they actually looked, they do not look like what your memory of them is. So if you put these games side by side, and you can find a bunch of comparisons online. It looks really good, really high textured, but there's certain things that they can only go so far without fully remaking a game.
Sure. Yeah.
And I posted a gameplay video on SeeJayAre on YouTube if you guys want to check out my first impressions of that. But I would recommend it. I think it's $40, $30 in the States, I believe. So,
okay. Not bad.
It's fun. I mean, if you had beat the game previously, I don't know if you'd want to jump back in and put your time. I was right back into it. And once you hear that Paradise City song, oh man.
I'm in.
And then DJ Atomica comes in.
Yeah.
You're just like, man, this takes me back.
This would be the perfect game to like put on, because I know you can on
the Nintendo Switch?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it would be great for that goes without saying for pretty much every game, all right? Yeah. But yeah, we need to add that in, of course. No, I was going to say, like, is there a PS4 version? Or is it just on Xbox?
As far as I know, there's a PS. I think it's on PS4. I think it might be on PC also.
Okay.
I can't remember.
But, you can do. There's the Spotify app on there, so you can do like almost like custom soundtracks where you can have it playing in the background. But this would be the perfect game for that.
Oh wait, so okay, you mean so you could play Spotify through your Xbox
or PS4? I know you can on PS4. I'm just
and have the audio from the Spotify come through over top.
Yeah,
oh, that's cool.
It's back like the custom soundtracks thing, which I think it was a big thing with back with like Burnout 3 on the original Xbox. You do custom soundtracks on there.
The one game that I happened to do custom soundtracks for was NHL Hits for some reason. You could import your own. You could actually import your own music. I don't know why I remember that.
Yeah.
I put some Swollen Members songs. I don't know if you remember.
My God, okay, you know what? I was just thinking like the other day, like it was a few weeks ago. I was reminded that group exists again, and I was like, oh my God, that name is really bad, isn't it? I did never, clued into that. When I was younger, it's like, oh,
Swollen Members. If you're not Canadian, you may not know Swollen Members.
Some terrible hip hop group.
I still like. So I won't take any Swollen Members blasphemy.
Okay. Yeah, you're like, get out of here.
I still listen to Mad Child, who was the white guy. He's a pretty good. He's a very good rapper actually for a white guy. But, yeah,
I'll have to go down that rabbit hole and re-listen to some of that stuff.
I'm still a Swollen Members fan.
Okay.
So anyways,
all right.
Hockey. I was playing a hockey game listening to Swollen Members. Doesn't get any more Canadian than that.
So. No, really doesn't.
But yeah, Burnout Paradise is available on the Xbox One, PS4, PC. I believe it's $30 US. So good price point. I would highly recommend checking it out if you've played it before. If you haven't played it before, definitely.
Yeah, I hope if this sells well, that EA will make a new new Burnout.
I think that's. I think you're gonna hear a lot of that at E3, and this might be one of those precursors to them an announcement like that.
I feel like people are just sick of Need for Speed. I know I am.
The last Need for Speed game was not good at all.
Yeah.
And it just highlights even more that playing this. When did this game originally come out?
2008. So it's 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
So a 10-year-old game is still far better than what they just put out from their.
I think it's still one of the best arcade racers ever made. Yeah.
They've got Criterion under their belt. May as well put Criterion to work.
Use.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Criterion did a fantastic job on Star Wars, but with the whole
the ship
galactic
stuff.
Galactic Assault, I believe it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, Criterion, EA, we would love to see a new
Burnout,
Burnout Paradise,
and bring back Crash mode. Because that's the one thing that's missing from Paradise, right?
I know.
Ugh.
They did. Yeah. They came up with a downloadable Crash game. It was kind of different, but yeah, Crash mode was amazing.
Yeah.
So what's the biggest game you've been playing?
So I got a chance to dive into the Sea of Thieves beta on Xbox One. So this was kind of the final beta. It really feels like the full version of the game. Is this ever end? But final version of the beta before the game comes out on the 20th. So really soon. It's next week. So I actually, got to have kind of the full Sea of Thieves experience in that I was playing with 3 of my friends at the same time. I think it was on a Friday night. We all downloaded it and played it for about 3 hours. And man, it's a blast.
I'm so happy to hear you
man,
say that.
We were just having a heck of a time.
Yeah.
We were just it takes a little bit of getting used to at first. They throw you in. You're like, what do I do? I have to figure things out.
I'm
a little overwhelming at first, but once you kind of get the hang of things,
and having people with you to kind of figure out together, I'm
sure.
Yeah.
Once we're out on our ship on the open seas, man, it's just such a great time. We're doing the pirate songs.
Oh, were
and
you?
stuff.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, we're just you're singing into the microphones,
character? Swab the deck.
Yeah, Swabby Pete.
Come up with your own.
We were. Oh man.
Please tell me you guys were all dressed in pirate clothes while you're.
No, while we were doing it, we all had parrots on our arms and stuff.
Beer.
Yeah. Oh, but we were saying, my buddy Tim was like, "Oh, we got to get rum going. You guys drinking rum right now?" It's just I don't think I have any in the house. Sorry, whatever.
That's
but
awesome.
you can also get drunk in the game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you could go to the tavern and like one of your permanent items is like a flask or like a what the heck do you call that? Like a big like mug or whatever.
That's what I was. A Stein would be the German name.
No, it's not that. Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Wow. But you can go up and just be like, refill it, bar wench or whatever, and then you just after 2 of them, then you're just puking all over the place. You puke on each other, and then your screen goes like, oh man, I ended up like out in the water or something like that at one point, and it's just ridiculous. But man, yeah, what a great game! Like it's what I really like about it is it really emphasizes teamwork. Like this is a game that I like. I know you can play it solo, but like it really does come alive with the full like 4-player crew. Yeah,
so explain some of the systems, like when you're on
the ship. Yeah, so you're on the ship, so you'll be in like kind of a bigger ship. So there's a whole bunch of different kind of things on the ship that you can man. So you'll have a guy, who's at the wheel, obviously controlling where you're going. But then the thing is that when you have all the sails out, your kind of field of view is really limited, so you can't really see what's coming next. So I was down in the kind of like map room, because we had set a destination, like, okay, we're gonna go find some treasure on this island or something like that. It's circled on the map. So
there's a map room. You can't take the map up. Okay,
no.
Interesting.
So the map is down there, and it shows your ship's position. So it's like, kind of showing like, the ship is traveling, right? And so, but I would be kind of like yelling up instructions like. It's like, no, more to starboard, and he's like, what the hell is starboard? It's like, yeah, it's right, just go right.
Right, back.
Yeah. But it was, more, well, you have like your compass too and everything like that.
Does somebody need to spot also?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's a crow's nest you could be up, and then we figured out later that you can actually get kind of like almost like a sniper too. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. We're up in the crow's nest, and you have like your telescopes, your spotting things. So I kept going back for like, I was like in the map room, and then I would kind of run up to the front of the ship to be like, yep, okay, so there's the island there, and like,
iceberg, straight ahead. Did you make that
actually,
joke?
No, I didn't actually. Yeah, I'm king of the world, but there was like times where, because it would only show the big islands on the map, right? So I'm like, oh, you gotta turn more this way, and he's like, okay. I don't know what's going on, and then it's like we crashed into something, and like, oh, way to go, Nick,
it's not on the map.
I'm like, it's not on the map. What were you guys doing? But I mean, you can also have someone who's like watching over the cannons, but also the sails too, because the whole thing is if you're pulling in somewhere, you got to like kind of time it where you start it's like, okay, I'm gonna put these sails up, so we kind of slow down, and then once you're fully there, put all the sails up, and only then will you drop the anchor, because if you drop the anchor just all of a sudden, you're gonna like rip holes in the ship's hull, and then you have to go down and fill the leaks because it starts, And then one person can be dedicated to bailing water if you need to. Yeah. Oh,
it sounds awesome. So the gameplay loop revolves around like an exploring phase like that, and then like you find islands and just kind of look for treasure and stuff.
Yeah, and you get attacked by skeletons. We tried to attack a skeleton stronghold.
How's the combat system?
It seems pretty good. Like, I mean, we didn't get into a lot of combat. Just some like kind of low-level skeletons here and there. But it seems pretty intuitive. Like you can, I think if you hit like Y, you can switch quickly between like your sword and your gun.
Okay.
So, you can quickly go from, ranged and melee attacks. Yeah, the cannon stuff is really cool because you can, load them up with cannonballs, or you can put yourself into the cannon and launch yourself. Like, we're doing that, like launching ourselves like over the island.
Ship?
Yeah, like, you could do that, right?
I mean, cool.
Yeah, if you timed it properly, I guess, you could do that.
Launch yourself onto another ship. That's
cool.
So
it's one of those things. We just played that that night because we were like, you know what? Let's just wait. We're getting the full game when it comes out because it's part of the Xbox Game Pass. And I didn't want to like, I guess like spoil it more.
Yeah.
And, well, the thing is too is that it's very much based on, I guess, building up your kind of like almost like not pirate empire, but like you're just earning more money as you go along, so you can unlock like different things. You get like a whole bunch of outfits. There's you can upgrade your ship and things like that. But I guess my one concern is how much longevity it'll have.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not sure if it's literally just the same loop over and over again where you're like, okay, yep, we got a thing. Let's go to this island. Okay, we found the treasure. Let's go back. You know,
there were the destiny problem.
You know, right? There were some different missions you could pick up. Like there was one where it was like you have to deliver 2 chickens to this like island, but we couldn't find chickens anywhere, so it was like, or like by this day or something, right? So it's like, well, we're gonna fail that mission. So, but you can also encounter other players out in the world. Oh, yeah. It actually happened at one point where we pulled into a port. We saw a ship docked and we're like, let's destroy it. We just like unloaded on it, right? And it's like sinking down, and we like went ashore, and there was one guy there, and he's like, ahoy, mateys! And then we're just like, oh, hey, how's it going? And it's like, ah! And then
look, friends!
No, he started running back to his ship to get out of there. He runs there, and it's sinking, and we just ambushed him. And, he was like full on pirate's life, but I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be bad, you know, like when we get in there, like I could just already foresee us getting like totally like decimated by some random crew. And
it sounds interesting, man. You've got me definitely excited.
It just translates to those kind of like fun moments, right, where you're just like the game itself, it is kind of like relaxing, where it's like it kind of takes a while to get to different places and stuff, but you're kind of, if you're with a good group, it's just really like a great hangout game.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I hope it does well for Microsoft.
Yeah.
I really want them, like you said, to have a win on this one.
Yeah.
And I mean, the game's part of Games Pass, so there should be a lot of players in the game. I think it's a pretty cheap release too. Like I pre-ordered it.
Is it like less than a regular?
Well, I pre-ordered it like, I think almost 2 years ago now, and it was $40.
Oh wow!
But I don't know if that's
maybe it's gone up since then.
I don't know if that's the retail price or what. Right. But being part of the Games Pass, one, is going to drive a ton of people to sign up for that Games Pass, and hopefully get the player base into Sea of Thieves. So definitely looking forward to that one now even more after your experience.
Yeah.
The other game that I've been playing on my Xbox, it was part of the Xbox Live with
free stuff, right?
Yeah. Trials of the Blood Dragon. So this is a game that's been on my radar for a couple years now. I just haven't got around to picking it up and playing it. But basically, it's Trials HD, the motorcycle game, and Blood Dragon smashed up together.
Yeah, the Far Cry Blood Dragon.
Yeah, Far Cry Blood Dragon. So the game is like over the top 80s. It's far more in-depth story than I was expecting. I thought it would just be kind of a Trials game in that universe, but there's a story built in, over-the-top 80s action. It's all animated, really nice animation. The soundtrack is done by Power Glove, which is like a over-the-top 80s synth like rock group that's produced
inspired by the
really
Power
cool,
Glove.
Yeah, great music, really fantastic. I think
cool.
I actually saw Power Glove in concert when I went to. Oh God, what's the name of that convention? It's in Washington D.C. area. It's slipping my memory right now. Oh. But I think I saw them live, and it was pretty awesome. So, anyways, great music, great graphics, good little story, and that awesome gameplay loop of Trials HD. Basically, you're on a motorcycle.
I love the Trials games. Yeah.
Yeah, you're on a motorcycle, and you're trying to do jumps and stuff, and you have to keep your guy upright. But it actually switches to shooting. Like the guy can get off his bike in certain sections, and there's shooting sections where you're doing some platforming, basic platforming, and shooting in between the motorcycle. So it breaks it up nicely. Just a really fun game that if you have Xbox Gold Live,
I'm gonna download
for free.
this.
I think you'd really like it. It's fun.
I didn't know what this game was before you told me. I figured it was like just another entry in that whole Blood Dragon thing, like maybe like smaller scale version or something. I didn't know it was basically like a Trials crossover.
Yeah,
that just makes me super excited to.
I was really impressed. I thought it was a lot of fun. I sunk like 2 or 3 hours into it. I just I'll try a couple rounds, and it just hooked me, and I couldn't put it down. So
yeah.
What else have you been playing?
So Kirby Star Allies
for
the Switch. So gonna have a review up very soon. So yeah, this is kind of so the whole conceit with this one is, I mean, it's a Kirby game. You've played a Kirby game before. You kind of know what you're
you're ingesting enemies. Taking on powers, right?
So yeah, it's it reminds me of like the kind of like Kirby game that was on N64.
Crystal Shards?
I can't remember now.
Somewhere over here.
But anyway, it so the whole thing is you're like it's in the title, right? Star Allies. So it's all like based around you and kind of like your buddies. So you can actually any like enemies in the game. Are you finding it there?
It's bugging me.
Oh,
yeah, the crystal shards.
Yeah, I think it was that one.
Before.
Yeah. So yeah, any of the enemies that you can actually like take their powers, you can throw a heart on them, and then they become part of like kind of like your squad, and you can have up to 4, so, including Kirby. And they kind of just like help you out in battle. Like if you're not playing with anyone else, they're just controlled by the AI, and you're just going through the levels, and it's all kind of all the environmental puzzles and things like that are based around kind of the different abilities that you can get. So one of the coolest things is that say you're Kirby and you get like a guy or like a sword ability or something like that. If you have someone who has like fire-based powers on your team, if you just like hold up on the joystick, you like raise your weapon, and he'll like give you like a fire
that's
boost.
right.
Yeah, so it's like
demo,
so you keep getting different kind of boosts, and it's kind of becomes cool like seeing like the different combinations you can do.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I got a chance to try out the co-op last night because one of my roommates actually wanted to play with me, and I was like, all right, cool, let's hop in here. And it was a lot of fun. The only problem with it is that the second player has kind of a diminished experience, because if you're not Kirby, like you're kind of dependent on the player 1 moving around the map. Like they have full autonomy, whereas like player 2, it's like basically if you want to like switch abilities or switch to a different character, you almost have to get the Kirby player to do it for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean you can like help out and all this sort of stuff, but like yeah, I know like as soon as we like jumped in, I had who's it, King Day on my team or whatever, and I was like, oh cool, like there's a cool character for you right there. And he's like, all right, cool, I'm gonna be him. And then he accidentally like hit the kind of like switch thing, and it just like got like deleted him. And it was like, oh no. And it's like I was able to recruit him again, but I wish there was like, I wish that was a little better. Like I wish it was like everyone had kind of like the same experience. Like I almost wish it was like just 4 Kirby's or something like that. I feel like that would be a better way. It almost feels like kind of like a half measure co-op game.
Yeah, it's they're really pushing it as that, right? Like as a co-op experience. Yeah. That maybe like it almost feels like experiencing it as a single player game is kind of diminishing what they wanted it to be experienced as. Like it. And then like how many people have 4 people to play it with, and is it maybe geared towards a younger audience?
Yeah, I would say it is, because I think it's incredibly easy. Yeah. At least what I've played so far, and yeah, it's these Kirby games though, I think that's what's kind of nice about them, is it is very much like a kids thing that can be enjoyed by older players as well. But it also feels a bit like they're kind of running out of ideas. Like it feels like you're going over the same kind of stuff again. Like you have like the typical like Whispering Woods level and stuff where you're fighting the tree, and it's got like the music and stuff, and it's all fun, and it's as I get further into it, it's more interesting levels are coming. So it's and the challenge is kind of ramping up. Different kinds of puzzles. There's some creative stuff. There's like these sections where all 4 characters will kind of combine into something. Oh, okay. Where it's like the one was just them like all like attached together in like this like almost like they're making a boulder, and you're just crashing through the level. Cool. And that was pretty fun. And then like another one where they're all like on this like star or something, where you're all like latched to each other, and you're moving through the level like shooting stuff, and so that was pretty cool. So yeah, I'm liking it, but it's without kind of, I guess, giving like kind of a full review. Like I don't know if it's worth kind of the full price, unless you kind of really love the Kirby games, or you're looking for like a good game, to play with your kids. Yeah.
When does it come out?
This Friday. Yeah. So 16th. Yeah. And
your review will be up sometime this week, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Stay tuned for that on Goliath.com. Check out Nick's review. I've been playing a couple almost retro style games on my Nintendo Switch. I kind of went through a kick of like, looking for 8-bit platformers and stuff like that, and going back to some games that I kind of didn't get to when they first came out. So The one that really got me into it was Flint Hook, which just released on the Nintendo Switch. Kind of 8-bit or between 4 and 8-bit style graphics with a really cool mechanic of using a hook to kind of to use during platforming sections. I didn't play a whole lot of it, but I really enjoyed the hour and a half that I played of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say about that one, other than I did enjoy it.
Other than I played it.
It's a platformer that you've got this cool hook mechanic, great art style, cool little story. But the one that I've really been putting time into over the past 2 days is Azure Striker Gunvolt. And I picked up the Striker pack. I think it's Azure, actually. So this is a series, a lot like Mega Man X. KJ Inafune was actually involved in the development of this game, this series of games. I believe there are 2 Gunvolt games, and then there's a Mighty Burst Gunvolt game. They came out on the 3DS originally, I believe. I think I played Mighty Gunvolt on the 3DS originally. Anyways, Mega Man X style game. Same graphic style. Basically the mechanic, you play as Gunvolt. They call him GV. It's very Japanese. You can actually use the Japanese voice language with English subtitles, which I always like to do. I always like to play it how it was made. It's a Japanese development team. So yeah, it really feels like a well-crafted Mega Man X experience. You're using your blaster to almost like... it's an interesting mechanic where you're shooting your blaster at enemies, and the it's almost like the bullet that comes out attaches to them, and then you have some mechanic where you electrocute them. So you can shoot them up to 3 times, I believe, and the more these bullets you attach to them, the easier they'll be able to take down. And then you hold your right trigger button, and it just electrocutes them. And that's how you defeat enemies. Anyways, it's a pretty cool mechanic, but it has the typical Mega Man formula where you can pick your boss or which which level you want to go to. Yep. So yeah,
I always like that.
It really feels like a good spiritual successor to the Mega Man series, where kind of Mighty Number 9
was kind
failed
of
miserably.
Yeah.
This one was really well done, and on the Nintendo Switch it comes in a 2-pack, so you get 1 and 2 together.
Interesting. Cool.
Definitely worth checking out. We're kind of introducing a new segment this week. It's going to be called Question of the Week. We had a question last week posted to the Facebook page, I believe.
It was on the YouTube channel.
Okay, to the YouTube. So it was a question that came from YouTube. If you want to submit a question to the podcast, you can do so at admin@Goliath.com.
Yes.
Admin@Goliath.com. And in the subject line, just put GameCast. And then you can submit your question to us.
Ask away.
And we'll pick one question every week, every podcast to read on the air. And what's our first question?
Yeah, well, first and only, but all right. So this question comes from Gordon Logan, who asks, if you could replay a game again for the first time, what would it be? And so he says, some that come to mind for me are Bloodborne, Witcher 3, or even something way, way back like EverQuest. So this is cool. So I'm thinking he means play for the first time without any kind of prior knowledge of it, right?
Like re-experience.
Re-experience the game. Yeah. And
great question.
I think there's quite a few, right? Like a lot of these are favorites of all time for sure.
Absolutely.
So I think BioShock would be one for you, correct?
BioShock is probably number 1 for me. That game, I talked about it in a previous podcast, is definitely my top 5 of all time. Just the experience of discovering Rapture for the first time, I was just completely blown away. The graphics for the time were so fantastic and immersive after the plane crash, when you end up in the water and you swim over towards the what would you call that thing? Kind of like a light.
It was it was like a lighthouse watchtower that's just out there,
kind of protruding from the ocean. You're like, what is this? And you go explore. And BioShock, and probably, I don't think I'll be stealing yours here, but Metal Gear Solid for me was another one.
You stole it.
I did not.
No.
Okay. I was like, I don't want to take yours. I don't think this is yours.
I don't think I've still ever actually played through the full Metal Gear.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
So those are 2 for me that really stand out, but I mean, it could be a ton.
One that really just came to mind immediately when I read this question was The Last of Us.
Oh yeah.
Just, I mean, I've played through that story mode like a few times now, and I mean, it's still like really like effective. But
well, that opening,
just that opening,
yeah,
right? Like I remember, like just
powerful.
Oh, it's so powerful. I was just like, I'm like got like like tears streaming down my face.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh my god, like what am I in for here? But just that entire game, like all the way through, it just felt like this just amazing journey, and I just really hope like the part 2, whenever that comes out, can really just replicate that experience. But really, that's like any Naughty Dog game for me too. It's like Uncharted 2 comes to mind.
Yeah.
Because I mean that game just blew me away playing through the first time. But also like I mean I can concur with Gordon here, but Witcher 3.
Yes.
That's a game that I've really wanted to like play through again, just to get like a different ending, because there's multiple endings, and I ended up getting like kind of like the worst one, and I really hated it. But it's such a long game that I'm just like, I can't justify it.
No.
But I remember I fell in love with that game, and it was any of these kind of like story driven RPGs, I think. So yeah, I mean that was a great question, Gordon. So
yes.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, so like I said, you can send in your questions to admin@goliath.com and just put GameCast in the subject line. Feel free to send us any questions you have, and we will pick one each podcast to read.
Yeah.
And I think that's it for today's podcast.
Yeah, I think this is, relatively long one, but lots of great stuff to talk about.
Yeah, it's an exciting time of year for gaming. So,
yeah.
The podcast going forward should just be better and better with, as we lead into E3.
And as we play more new releases, yeah. So I think like next time we do this, we'll have Far Cry 5.
Yep, we'll both have played it by then.
And full Sea of Thieves as well.
Yes, so stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening. As always, you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify. We're now on Spotify. You can actually search and subscribe to the podcast on Spotify. You can check out the video form of this podcast on the Goliath YouTube page and also on the Goliath Facebook. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.